everybody. Welcome to Teal's Roadhouse. Good to have you here with us. Dylan Marlowe in the house, baby.
Let's
Do
go.
you ever get the Statesboro blues?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Statesboro, Georgia, man. Exactly where is Statesboro located?
Yeah, we're about an hour inland from Savannah,
Gotcha.
down in South Georgia.
What a great town, man. I've got to spend a little bit of time in Savannah, but Savannah is a great destination. I'd like to go spend 3 or 4 days there and kind of take in the culture. There's a lot of history in Savannah.
A lot of history. Yeah, it's a pretty place. When you grow up there, you don't realize that all you care about is going hunting in Statesboro. You don't really care about Savannah.
Yeah.
But the older I get, the more, it's pretty.
Yeah, great restaurants and stuff too, man. What's it like growing up in Georgia?
It was great, man. We, like the town I grew up in, Statesboro, kind of had everything you needed, like 10 minutes that way, but then you could go 10 minutes this way and have everything you didn't need, like just nothing, which is perfect. So we'd go, I could hunt until 9:30 or 9, go to get to class by 9:30 and be on time.
Man, yeah, it's hard for people to realize with all the school shootings and all the stuff that we have in this day and age.
Yeah.
I graduated in 1986, and we all kept rifles and shotguns in the truck.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have a gun rack in the back. I mean, everybody we got the opening day of deer season off because we had deer day because nobody was coming to school anyway.
That's awesome.
I mean, and we got to run dogs back in the county that I was in Arkansas. So we ran dogs back then.
That's sick.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we had, I was on the shotgun team at my school. It was a little smaller private school. So, so we could bring them to school, but I think that was probably 2015 was like the year where stuff started getting kind of crazy. So.
Yeah,
I think.
But that was a crazy world we live in, man.
Yeah.
Back then, we carried pocket knives in their pocket to school, and
That's
everybody
awesome.
sneak a dip in class, and all those good country things that you do.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Did you play any sports in school?
Yeah, I did baseball.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. I was devoted there my whole life. I didn't even think about a guitar until my senior year.
No kidding.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Yep. What position did you play?
Middle infield. So I was like second base, and
Gotcha.
I couldn't throw that hard, but I had like a pretty nasty curveball. So I would come relief some games and gave him a few dingers.
How many kids in your graduating class?
Like 26.
Oh, you're
27.
smaller than me.
Oh, really?
We had 49.
Yeah, it was like 26, 27.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the alumni magazine the other day from it actually, and I think the class now is like 45. It's like the biggest graduating class there.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, nuts.
Georgia's, man, having a lot of success. How about your Bulldogs, man? You had a
Dude.
great weekend.
I'm glad we beat Texas. That's for sure.
I really thought Texas was going to stand up a lot better.
I did too, man. I thought surely we lost to Alabama, we'll lose to Texas, but I think it was good we lost to Alabama, kind of sharpen us up,
Yeah.
So
Man, watching Texas leading up to that game, man, they sure got exposed. I thought they were a lot better than what they showed on Saturday.
I know, man. I guess they hadn't really played too many good teams this year.
They haven't, man. They got tested for the first time.
Yeah.
But it was a fun game to watch. It's been very interesting watching all the changes in college football and everything this year with NIL and all that stuff.
I know, man. It's nuts.
It's different with the new playoff structure and all that. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how all it shakes out at the end of the year.
Dude, I feel like every weekend this year there's like insane games, like 2 or 3 insane games, upsets happening in a weekend.
Yeah, it's happening all the time.
Like the schedules are so much tougher, which I think is why we were better after Alabama, because I mean we've played so many good teams already this year.
Yeah.
And it'd be a bad time to be sports betting.
So I played baseball in school too, and I haven't been following the season that much this year. I think the Yankees just made the World Series, didn't they?
Did
they? I haven't been following. Does anybody know?
Yeah. I follow the Braves.
Yeah.
And if the Braves are out, I'm kind of out at that point.
So you hadn't been doing much since Chipper Jones, huh?
No, not much. We had one good year a few years ago, and that was it.
Yankees and Dodgers.
The Yankees and the Dodgers.
Gosh, at least Freddie Freeman will be in there. That's good.
Cool, man.
Happy for him.
Have you been to Yankee Stadium yet?
No, sir.
We did one year, man. Remember? You probably don't even remember all the MasterCard commercials they had where they were going to the stadiums and getting their MasterCard points. I mean, there was a couple of years that we went to every stadium we could get to. I mean,
really?
I haven't been to Fenway, but I've been to the new and old Yankee Stadium, the new and old Braves Stadium, Diamondback Stadium, the A's, just tons of them around the country. Rangers, Astros.
I think the only ones I've been to is probably both the Braves, Turner and Truist, and then we went to Fenway when we played Boston.
Yeah.
And got to we didn't see a game though.
Last time I went to Texas Stadium, I wound up sitting right behind pitcher what's the pitcher from the Rangers?
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan. We
Nolan
sat right
Ryan?
behind Nolan Ryan.
No way.
I just went blank on that. That's awful. Freaking Nolan Ryan. He charged the mound on you.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to charge him, that's for sure. Nolan will pop
Heck
you
no.
in the head, man.
He was a tough one.
I love sports, man. This is my favorite time of year when it starts cooling off. And, you know, the deer are starting to move. Starting to get that little cool fall vibe. And football's in full force. This is my favorite time. Man.
I know. It really is hard to beat it.
How do you get prepared for deer season? Do you go out and scout stuff out? You got your place you go? You got your stands up? You got food plots out?
Dude, usually, yes. When I first moved to town, I had a bunch of just permission stuff because I didn't have any money to really do anything or even lease anything. But I've kind of lost some of those just as the years have gone by. Like, they were mostly from really old dudes, and when they pass away, their kids kick me off of it. So, but I just got me a lease this year, like 2 weeks ago. So, kind of a little late to be like, you can't really use corn here to get inventory.
You can't bait.
No. And so I've been using some mineral blocks and just finding scrapes, putting cameras on fresh scrapes. And I've got 2 like studs over the last 2 weeks. So it's 220 acres and planted in soybeans. So I've just been hunting this doe bedding area. I've only got to go like 2 or 3 times. I'm going to go in the morning, but I've just been hunting the doe bedding areas on good winds and trying to get them coming back, checking them scrapes.
You bow hunter or rifle hunter?
Bow.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I have this property though, that's 220 acres with like some bigger deer than I've ever thought about shooting.
Yeah.
I'll probably.
You got to have something that's going to reach out there a little bit further.
A little hybrid hunt this year.
Yeah, you probably need to be able to at least reach 150 yards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Soybeans, man, that'll put it on them, son.
Dude, I know, and my favorite though is turkey hunting, and I've gotten so many pictures of turkeys already. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Turkeys are funny, man. They're all over the place out here. I'll pull up there. For all you folks that don't know, my bus pad here right at the house, it's got all the shiny stuff around it. These freaking dumb turkeys that come sit out here and peck on the stainless on the side of the bus, get on the front and peck the reflection in the stainless on the buses. It's like they're so stupid, man.
No way.
They really are.
They're so stupid till you try to hunt them, and then they'll drive you crazy.
Then they're like paying attention to everything with that little bitty head.
I know. God, drive me crazy.
So you came from Statesboro, Georgia. How long have you been out on the road? You've been touring a couple of years now?
Yeah. Right after COVID got done, we started, and I feel like we ain't really stopped since.
Yeah.
But it's been fun, man. We our first tour was with a guy named Dylan Scott, and he's like my older brother now.
I love Dylan, man.
He's awesome,
He's a
dude.
good guy.
And since then, man, we just been going crazy.
How many dates did you do this year?
I think with radio tour, like close to 160, probably 150,
That's a lot of
160.
singing, man.
Oh yeah, and I finally just got my I'm not just a natural like singer, so I've kind of like teach myself. So for a while there, I was singing wrong. I kept losing my voice every night, and now that I've kind of got it figured out, I'm chilling. It's a lot better place to be in.
That's good. Well, you know, it's a strange thing when you're just starting out because you're going out on big festivals and stuff, and you're doing opening slots. Sometimes you're at 4:00 in the afternoon, right in the heat of the sun. Then you're playing all these clubs and these awful bars and stuff where you don't go on stage at 11:30 at night, so you're fluctuating all over the place.
Oh man. Yeah, it's crazy. It's fun though. I got a really good group of dudes in the band with me, so it's kind of, I tell my wife, it's kind of like vacation when we go out every weekend. It's so fun.
You get your own language, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of evolves to its own thing, man. Every bus has its own culture.
It does, man. It does.
And sometimes it needs to be put in a Petri dish and checked.
Yeah. That's great.
Have you met Derek and Scott back there?
I did when I walked in. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yep. Derek plays second guitar in the band. Scott plays piano. So they're out on the road with me, too. So we've learned this whole thing as we've kind of evolved with this process.
Y'all are some Swiss Army knives then.
Trying to be.
Hell yeah.
Some blades are sharper than others.
He's right there. Don't talk about it.
I mean, dude, you could be the scissors, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
The scissors or the corkscrew, or.
So, bus life when you're just starting out can be a very fun thing. Give me a fun bus story, man. Tell me something, because I know y'all jacking with each other hard.
Oh, dude. I mean, so we started initially on a short bus.
Well, that says a lot.
Yeah, it says a whole lot. And me and my dad helped me buy it, and we bought it. It had 20,000 original miles on it, 2007 Chevy short bus. So the Duramax, it was fresh off the block pretty much. Yeah. And we built 6 bunks in the back, and gosh, man, so many. There's one time I remember we played this show with Dylan Scott, and
was it a school bus?
Yeah, like a short school bus.
Like a single axle, rear axle school bus?
Yeah, single rear axle.
Rough.
Yeah, it was a dually. Oh, it was rough riding, yeah.
God.
I mean, one show that I remember with Dylan, we're going down the interstate. We're going pretty quick. I mean, we're probably going 70, 75, and we just hear something coming really fast beside us, and I look out the window. He probably won't care if I say this, but I look out the window and I just see somebody's bare butt riding down on a tour bus, hanging out the window, and it was
excellent work.
It was none other than Dylan Scott, and it was the funniest thing, I think. I mean, I could probably go on. He's the biggest prankster, man. When we toured with him, he'd dump salsa on my head in the shower. He'd wait till I get done, turn the water off, and then dump salsa.
Start all over.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, but probably my favorite short bus story was me and my tour manager Screech. We're from the same hometown, and we were out with Dylan, and I think we had like Montana, Utah, and where else? One of them other western states, and then we had 5 days before we had to be there, before we had to be in California. And on the way out to Montana, I got on Onyx, like I was telling you about, started cold calling some people in Wyoming because they had the early turkey season that came in, and I got permission over the phone to like 700 acres in Wyoming, and they said there was all kinds of turkeys on it. So while we're leaving to go from our last show to go to California, the band thinks we're just going to drive straight to California and have 4 off days in California. Little did they know I drove 7 hours backwards to Wyoming and then parked the short bus on the side of a dirt road and got up at like 5 a.m. went turkey hunting. So the band wakes up and they're just on the side of a random dirt road in Wyoming. I have no cell service, so they have no idea. Like, I just didn't think to tell them.
You didn't leave the keys in the bus, did you?
Yeah, I left the keys in the bus, but I didn't think to tell them what I was doing. Like, me and Screech were set on Wyoming, and so we got back there probably, I don't know, lunchtime. The guys are like so mad at us, dude. And I had no money this time. I think we were making $500 a night with Dylan Scott on that first tour. So we got to this hotel, really terrible hotel in the town we were hunting, and I got him a room for 2 nights, and I handed him like $100, and I was like,
sorry.
have fun. Yeah. And we ended up killing some turkeys the second day, so they didn't have to wait too long.
So, isn't there 5 varietals of turkey in the United States? You got the Rios down in West Texas. What are the different ones?
You got Osceola, that's like South Florida.
Yep.
Easterns around here. Then you got the Rios. You got the Merriams, which is like Wyoming, Montana. Those are my favorite.
What's Black Hills up there? That's a different.
Yep, South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Yep, and then you got the Gold's turkey, which is really only like New Mexico and Mexico.
Are they smaller?
They're actually huge.
Really?
Yeah.
I know the Rios are big. They're huge down in West Texas.
Yeah, Rios are big, and the Merriams are big. Any of those birds, like the mountain birds and stuff, they get huge just from cold weather.
Big legs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was just on the phone with my booking agent earlier about booking us some shows in May out west so we can hunt some turkeys.
Yeah, so, man, you need to go out there and check it out. There's some amazing ranches out there in West Texas, all through that area. It's pretty awesome. Just everything you can imagine, man. It's really a great place to go. Some world class places. Well, and Texas is set up different. They don't let you. They have a massive breeding operation there, but you can't ship anything in or out of Texas.
Oh, really?
As far as whitetail go.
So you just breed what you have?
Everything's contained, man. It's highly regulated. If you've got a breeding operation, you can't ship semen or your offspring or anything out of the state.
So is it like once you high fence it, that's pretty much what you got to work with, and you start feeding them protein and stuff? And
what a lot of people go in and clean the property out and then come in and get them a few high dollar females because you want to completely control the bloodline.
Gotcha.
And that's what a lot of them do.
That's crazy.
And then mix in the exotics. They bring most of it in from India, stuff like oryx and black buck and fallow and axis and all that stuff. Axo's probably my favorite meat there is.
I've heard it's so good.
It's so good, man. It's one of my favorites. That and elk are my 2 favorites.
Yeah, I've had elk. I hadn't had access to it, but I've heard like it's insane.
So you've been on the road and during COVID and everything. How's it progressed, man? I mean, are you enjoying everything out there? Is it all you wanted it to be?
Yeah, dude, I do, man. I literally love it. It's just when I'm home, I miss being out there, and then when I'm out there, I miss being home. But I legitimately love it. This weekend was our last bus run of the year. I just have a bunch of radio stuff.
Gotcha.
Until the new year, but Yeah, I was kind of sad. It was fun.
You have a hard time adjusting to sleeping patterns when you come home.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
kids yet?
Nope.
Yeah, that's when it really changes, man. Because
Yeah.
the flopping of the schedule, and then you get so if you go on at 11:30, you don't get off the stage till 12:30 to 1 o'clock in the morning. Then it takes you 2 hours to wind down, and you ain't getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Heck no.
It's tough.
Yeah, I can't imagine. We're probably not far from it, but I couldn't imagine having to come home and be dead and do that. But I reckon I'll figure it out.
How do you fix your back strap?
Oh, last year I started cutting them up into thin, like little, you got the back strap, just cutting into thin pieces and then taking a mallet and beating it and frying it.
I like to batter mine when I do that.
Yep, yeah.
Tenderize it out.
Yeah, tenderize it, put a little hot sauce in the thing. I like spicy stuff, so we'll make some spicy fried backstrap. And then if I'm feeling like doing just something crazy, I'll grill it up, spend a few hours smoking it and grill it. But it's easier to fry it for me.
I like fried deer meat. That's my favorite. What do you think, Junior?
Love fried deer meat and biscuits, man. Come on. Yes, sir.
Biscuits.
It's hard to beat it.
I love it, man. Yeah, it's like crawfish, man. I crave crawfish, but I crave fresh deer meat too. But about January, February, when the bugs are starting to roll, it's like I know you like the mud bugs, man.
Oh, dude, yeah. You know what's crazy is I've actually never had a crawfish.
What? We can fix that.
I'm from Georgia, so we had them in the creek. We go catch them, but just never really had it in front of me, anywhere.
Not like Cajun cooked. That's a whole different.
No, that's the thing too. I don't want to eat it in New York
where they look like they're little tiny lobsters, man.
Yeah, I want to try it.
Unless it's Louisiana style, you're basically eating bait.
Okay,
so
that's fair.
You want it Louisiana style.
Yeah. I've never had it. I've eaten pretty much everything.
We're gonna have to fix that.
Yeah,
man.
come on.
That's
I'd love
just not
to.
good, man. You gotta have crawfish, man. I get to craving it, man. About once we get past Christmas, it's like I'm ready for some crawfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna figure it out. Maybe we got a little a smoker or a cooker, so I might get some this year and try it.
Just boil it, man. All you can do is boil it with spices. It's pretty easy. I like it with corn, little red potatoes and corn, just frozen.
Kind of like a low country boil type.
Yeah, just like a low boil.
Just without shrimp.
Yep. You put all the vegetables and everything in. And people do all kinds of different stuff. We'll put mushrooms, green beans, andouille sausage, all kinds of different stuff in there, man. Everybody likes different stuff.
Let's go.
I freaking like it. I can eat my damn weight in that stuff.
I remember the first time I was eating a crawfish in front of him, he said, "Son, you're going to starve to death. Let me show you how we eat these things around here."
I freaking inhale them, man. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you're done with the tour for the year?
Yep.
Radio tour. What? And how many singles have you had out now?
Just one.
No, you're with the what label?
Sony.
Sony.
Yeah, I like it. We're on the first one right now. It's a slow climb, but I think everybody's first one probably is pretty slow.
Yeah.
But I think we're number 18 right now though, 17, 18. Yeah. So, and Dylan's on it with me. So yeah. Oh yeah. I try not to look. I got a new phone the other day, so. You know Dallas Davidson?
I do.
So he's my manager. That's who I signed my first publishing deal with, and he's got a media-based login. And my manager Kay left it on a sticky note on his desk one day, and so I got it. But now I don't have it on this phone. But it's kind of good not to look, I guess. So.
Yeah, but you want to stay in. You want to know what's happening with the record, man. It's
sure.
too much to not pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I'm proud for you, man. I'm glad things are going well. So after you, did you drop out of school and go back to work for your dad for a while?
Yep. Yeah, out of college. My dad, he was a drummer in a rock band.
Really?
And so, before, they had me 17 years old, my mom and dad, so really young. And, he was all for it. When I started doing music, he's like, man, if you're, I don't want to pay for college if you ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
So, B, if you want to move to Nashville, just come work with me for a few years and save up some money and then move. And I worked with him for maybe 2-3 years. I didn't save a dime. I spent all of it. Yeah. But one day he was like, man, I'm going to be honest, you look like you're getting comfortable. So he's like, if you don't move by July, I'm fired. You're going to have to find another job. So
time to go.
I moved.
And so what'd you do when you first got here? That's a pretty shock to the system. I mean,
huge. I mean, I went back home a bunch when I first got here. I lived right down the road in Hermitage, and I wrote a bunch, every day. And it wasn't until COVID came that I luckily had just signed my publishing deal with Dallas before COVID, so I had a very small salary at the time.
Yeah.
And I just hunted and fished and wrote every single day. So I mean, it was right when I got to town was kind of that time.
How difficult is it to meet people when you're just first getting here? I mean, I've heard
it's pretty tough. Yeah. I mean, I would go out to the bars and stuff every now and then, but I've never been much of a partier. Probably because I grew up in Statesboro. And that's already kind of a party town. But man, I'd rather like just go hunt or fish or do something else. If you stay up too late drinking, you can't really get up and go hunt. But I'm not saying I don't or I haven't, but I've never been a crazy like partier dude. So it was a little trickier for me, I think. I figured it out. You figure it out if you want it bad enough, I reckon.
It's a big adjustment to get here and kind of settle into the system, and there's so much freaking talent everywhere, man. It's a little bit overwhelming.
It's a lot.
I remember when I first got to town in the '90s. I mean, it's like, holy crap! There's actually a lot of really good singers here.
Insane, man. Yeah. It's everywhere, and so navigating that is tricky sometimes, but
Did you work Lower Broad at all?
Mm-mm. Yeah. No, sir. No, I played one show on Broadway my whole life, and it was the first and last show I ever played. It was down at Luke Bryan's bar. One of my buddies needed me to come, like, just fill in with him, and he said make some money, so I went up there. And maybe like 4 songs in, it's like the 11 o'clock shift, so it was pretty early in the day, and I'm singing. I think I played some like old, just 90s country stuff, and the dude at the time there came over the in-ears, and he's like, "Hey man, we're trying to not play like some older stuff today, like just keep it newer." So I'm like, all right. So I go like, I don't know, maybe I went a little newer, and it still wasn't. He was still not happy about it. So then he's like, "Man, if you can't listen, like, you just need to leave." And so I think I played Red Ragtop was like the last one I played, and he just started like yelling at me through his in-ears. So I took the in-ears off. I slammed them on the floor like they were theirs. I took the pack off, and I was like, screw this, dude. Yeah. So then I went to the office. I wasn't signed with Dallas yet. I went there and told him about it, and Luke was in there, and he was like, "What dude is that?" So yeah,
stirred up some shit, didn't you?
Yeah. First and last time, and I figured it'd be worth it more to just go right than to play down there.
It's funny to watch guys like that get a little bit of power that turn into jackasses.
Dude, I know, man.
It happens. I see it all over the road, man. Security guys, I see this crap all the time, man. They get a little power and they just turn into idiots.
Dude, I know, man. We played a show at the House of Blues in Anaheim the other day with Jake Owen. It was really sick. Jake's insane. And we walk upstairs and watch the show because, like, as an opener, like, the coolest thing about an opener is you get to watch the headliner show. Yeah. But the worst part is, like, you don't want to take away from it. So, like, last thing I want to do is go get in the middle of the crowd and have people whatever. So we went to go, like, upstairs, the balcony, and watch in the back, and the people were like, "You can't be up here." And I was like, "Well, I got this, like, all-access thing. We're good." And they're like, "No, unless you got a wristband, you can't be here." I'm like, "Look, we just played, like, and I just don't want to cause a scene, but I want to watch, and it says all-access." And the dude just, like, would not let me sit up there and watch the show.
Wow.
I'm like, that's like one dude, like, he probably just takes pride in being that dude, but
probably loves everything about it. Yeah, they're everywhere.
But there's really good ones too. There's really good ones in there.
There's good and bad and everything, man.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about those influences, man. With your dad playing in a rock band and everything, what were your early influences?
Yeah, dude. I mean, if I was riding with my dad, is like Nickelback. He's got a Primus tattoo, like the mosquito playing the drums.
Wow.
And Linkin Park, Blink-182, all that stuff. And then my mom was like always into Kenny Chesney. So a lot of older Kenny stuff. That's where I found your music, was with my mom.
Yeah.
I think the first song I ever heard was Texas Tornado. And so that was one of my early influences. And early Kenny, a lot of your stuff, Keith Whitley, just all around the spectrum, really.
Yeah.
And she loved Justin Timberlake, so I always listen to that.
Bringing sexy back, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, I like all kinds of music, man. Yeah. New artists that you're digging these days. Who's the hot new things out there floating around?
Man, it's hard to tell because I feel like I'm so in it that I don't ever sit to look around and look. But man, I really like Vincent Mason. He's been putting some good stuff out. My buddy Brian Fuller, we're about to take him on tour with us. He's really good. And who else have I been meeting? I feel like I've been meeting guys every weekend. Braxton Keith, he's a Texas dude. His stuff's really sick. Oh man, I just met Gavin Adcock for the first time the other day. He's pretty wild.
Yeah, he's wild, man.
He went to school where I'm from, and you see like all the stuff on social media of him being crazy, but then when you meet him, he's a really sweet dude.
Yeah.
So happy for him, and yeah.
Yeah, he's. I watched a lot of his content, man. He actually did the podcast a while back, man.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. But he's beating his head with beer cans and throwing
Yeah.
stuff. I mean,
crazy.
he's just bringing the house down, man.
He's just doing his thing, I reckon.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my presentation, but
Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah, I feel like there's so many people to be a fan of though nowadays. There's just so much good stuff. Like anytime I hear somebody just doing their own thing, that's when I really gravitate towards it.
Being an outdoorsman, I've been wanting to ask somebody this question, and I'm real serious about this. I hope it don't offend you.
You ain't gonna offend me.
You believe in Bigfoot?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't know, man. I want to. Like, I really want to believe in Bigfoot, but I've just never... I guess I've never asked myself if I did or not until now.
Back home, we had the Texarkana, on the south side of Texarkana is Fouke, Arkansas, and you can look all this up. We had a thing called the Fouke monster there years and years ago that terrorized the whole town, man.
Really?
It was like a swamp ape kind of thing.
No way.
And there's a lot of people that saw it over years. People were terrified of it, man.
Dude,
it's hard for me to believe that there's not something out there.
That's fair. I guess I'm probably more of a believer than I'm not, because I'm a big conspiracy theory guy.
Oh, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole now.
So I love conspiracy theories. Like I'm if I got the slightest angle to believe it, like I'm in it.
I've been down so many rabbit holes. Everything from flat Earth to inner Earth.
Yep.
To, do you think we've been to the moon? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Why ain't we been back?
What do you think, Scott?
I think I've been to the museum that got up in Washington D.C. So it's.
Well, it must be real.
It's gotta be real.
It's got to be true if it was in Washington D.C.
Because they don't do
got a point
anything
there.
but tell the truth up there.
I'm pretty gullible too, so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
So what's the big rabbit hole? What's the one conspiracy theory you've been down lately? Because I love this stuff, man.
lately, I don't know. I've been seeing stuff about this, like the weather, like these machines affecting the weather.
Weather generators. Yeah,
I think they've been doing it for a while.
they've been doing it since the 50s.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty nuts. I think the so like the flat Earth stuff. What there's a layer that it talks about in the Bible.
The firmament.
The firmament.
Yeah.
I just don't think we've been past that. I think maybe we have satellites just under it.
Now, a lot of it's been removed, but when I started going down that rabbit hole, if you go back, it was before we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. When we first had nuclear weapons developed, they shot like hundreds of them up into the firmament trying to break through it. They were shooting nuclear bombs up into the atmosphere, and they never could get anything to go through. So that's why I don't believe it.
I don't either. And I think if you look at videos of spaceships, like there's a few that go up and then they hit it and then they just start angling. So I don't know. People might call me crazy. It says it in the Bible, so I believe that. So, if it talks about it in the Bible, it's true.
My favorite one that I've been down, have you ever heard of Admiral Richard Byrd?
I don't think so.
Admiral Byrd was the first guy to ever do a huge exploration trip to the South Pole. And supposedly, back in the day, he did news interviews and stuff after he had been. But he was a pilot, and he was flying in at the South Pole, and everybody was back at the camp. And something locked onto his plane and took him to the inner Earth. And there were all these translucent people that were really tall. They took him in, set him down. He got to talk to the people, and he came back and he wrote a whole diary that's been released. Look him up, man. It's
Really?
pretty freaking fascinating.
I say I love stuff like that because I think there's so much stuff we don't know.
Oh, without a doubt.
My banjo player we just hired, his name's Ethan, and he's huge conspiracy, but he's huge like biblical conspiracy. So like he uses a bunch of facts from the Bible that he'll throw in that make you think like I don't know. There's just so much stuff that we just don't even know yet.
Oh, without a doubt, but a lot of things are starting to be revealed right now. There's a lot of stuff coming.
I think a lot of stuff is purposefully being hidden from us, from the general population, that I think is slowly like people are kind of like, it's kind of like music, right? Like now, like there's no gatekeepers really anymore. You kind of can just put a song out, and if it blows up on TikTok, you don't really like, you're chilling, Yeah,
like Trey Lewis.
Yeah.
Dick Down in Dallas would have never been played on the radio.
Nope.
He had a huge hit with that thing.
Yeah, dude,
I mean, it was massive.
Yeah, I think the gatekeepers are kind of slimming down. I think stuff's probably.
Well, there's just so many tools to be able to reach your audience out there, and there's, you always find a group of people that are going to like what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, Corey Feldman, I can still find people to like what he does too. Is that wrong? Should I have not said that? Have you watched his live show at all?
Who?
Corey Feldman.
Uh-uh.
I don't know if I knew who this is.
Oh, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. They were the young teenage actors. Corey has been out with Limp Bizkit, and he's just really strange, dude.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. You ought to watch some of the footage of him. I don't know how I even got on that. Yes. I think he might be a reptilian. You been down that rabbit hole yet?
I haven't been down that one yet. I've seen
Some
it.
of them are a little bit hard to swallow.
I've seen it. My biggest conspiracy theory that I spent weeks on was the I'm gonna blank now, but there was this book that didn't make the Bible.
Book of Enoch.
Enoch, yeah. And they found it in the kids like throwing the ball, like they found the vase broke. They found the Book of Enoch, and it talks about like the fallen angels that came down and like
The Watchers.
yeah.
The
I
Nephilim.
think that's totally how the pyramids were built. I mean, it says clearly like there was giants built from that, like made from angels breeding with humans.
And the skeletons that have been found of people like 9-10 feet tall.
Dude, yeah. And then it all makes too much sense because then the flood comes, washes all that away.
So the fascinating thing for me is like, why not be honest with the public? Why do you think that they hide this stuff and they don't want people to have general knowledge of this? I mean, I don't understand what the reasoning
Power
is.
and control.
I think
easier to manipulate the population.
yeah, I think it's half of it's power and control, and half of it's just people are dumb. Like they believe what the world says, probably.
I don't know. It fascinates me. Because the Smithsonian, they say the Smithsonian has hid so much stuff, like the elongated heads and all the stuff that they found all around the world.
Yeah.
They've been hiding stuff for years.
Dude, they definitely have.
And you don't want to call them if you find something because you will never see it again.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. I don't know. We'll figure it out one day.
So where I grew up in southwest Arkansas is a little farm town called Foreman. So we were about 7 minutes from the Oklahoma line to the west, and about the same distance to the Red River, which was the border between us and Texas.
Yeah.
A lot of farmland down in the bottomlands. Man, we've had UFO sightings down there.
Really?
I remember the people saying that a UFO spaceship had chased them through the bottoms. I mean, this was like after I came to Nashville, and I went home for this stuff, and there was 50,000 people down in the bottoms and campers down there with telescopes and stuff trying to catch the UFOs again. I mean, it was like the whole world descended on this little town of 1,100 people, and there was people everywhere. But there's been the light orbs that have been seen down in the bottoms. I've seen a lot of strange stuff down there over the years that I can't explain. You ever seen anything you can't explain?
Yeah.
I mean, most people that go out in the woods or travel on the water, I mean, we've all seen some things.
I have one thing, and it actually should be on this phone. Maybe I'll show you after, but I caught a legit ghost on camera.
Okay.
Sounds crazy. I'll show you the video. You can even put it on the thing, but I was driving down a dirt road in Georgia, and this road in Bullitt County, or maybe it was in Candler County, right beside it in Metter, Georgia. This house, everybody says, is pretty.
Was that an opening line to a Tracy Byrd song? I'm sorry.
Metter, Georgia.
We're driving through Georgia in late July.
Oh yeah, exactly, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah. No, that's yeah. And I was just videoing like, because when Snapchat first came out, you would like kind of video stuff just to post on there and show people what you're doing. So I'm just like riding dirt roads, so I just posted a video on there. Been drinking some beer. Somebody was driving us, and I posted to my story, and then, I didn't even see it. And then the next day I get up on my story and look, and one person was like, "What the hell is that walking across the front porch?" And you can see this black figure, and it's behind. So like you could say it would be the shadow from something, but it's behind the railing. It just runs across, runs back, goes up, and then runs across it again and just disappears. And I got it on video. It's nuts. So that's probably like the one thing that I've seen. And then there was one time that I was hunting in Georgia where I was walking out and I had my headlamp on and I just saw, I don't know what it was. It was two like eyes and it was like this far apart. And it was kind of just staring at me. And they never, like I kind of thought, you ever seen them pins you put in trees? So if you hit it with the light, you know where you're going. I thought it was like that. It was huge. I mean, it was way taller than me. I just see these eyes, and then it blinked, opened back up, and then disappeared. Wow. And I never heard it.
Sasquatch.
Oh, I don't know.
Have you heard of the Mothman prophecy? You seen the movie?
I don't think so.
The Mothman. Remember we played in West Virginia there at the bridge? Years ago, the Mothman was sighted before the bridge collapsed and all those people died that were driving across the bridge. We played right next to that bridge 2 years ago, 3. Do you remember? It's where the guy stole my guitar out of the bay of the bus when we were loading out. That's where the Mothman was.
Okay. All right.
It was crazy, but it was like this big 10-foot tall winged creature with red eyes. And there were a lot of people that saw it.
Really?
A whole bunch. And they say it only appeared when disasters were coming. And there was like a whole bunch of people that the bridge collapsed and people just drove into the cold water and died. Lots of people.
Damn. No, I hadn't heard of that.
You like horror movies?
Oh, yeah.
I love horror movies, man. My favorite one, the scariest one to me ever was Hellbound Hellraiser.
I hadn't seen that.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's got that supernatural stuff to it, and it just freaks me out. What's your favorite?
I know. It's funny because I hate horror movies, and I love them. I love the plots of them, but then I hate when you go home after and you're just laying in your room. You're like, you start seeing stuff in your head that you just saw. It's like, I don't know why I do this to myself.
I like the older ones because they're so over the top with the gore and the effects and all that stuff. That's the ones I like because I can just sit there and laugh at them because they're so ridiculous.
Yeah.
The new ones with all the CGI stuff, they're freaking real.
Yeah.
It just creeps me out.
I think the Insidious movie is probably the one that freaked me out the most. Or like The Nun. The
Ring. Where it had the
Ring was.
Oh, that was freaky too.
That was kind of freaky.
Yeah. That one's a little bit scary to watch.
Yeah.
By yourself.
What's the one with the nun? I don't know.
I think it's called The Nun.
The Nun.
But there was, I don't know why. Like
I can't get anybody in my family to watch them with me. I like them.
Yeah, my wife, she don't like them.
My wife wants to watch Hallmark all the time. They, they start Christmas shows in July.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, my wife's already listening to it today when she got home from the gym. Yeah. She loves it.
I like the ones where you go to your bedroom, then as soon as you turn the light switch off, you just want to jump from the light switch to your bed.
Oh, I've done it. Heck yeah, I've done it all the time. I'll sleep with like a little mask on sometimes. That way I'm like, if I open my eyes, I'm not going to see anything. You know? But yeah, I don't know. I love the plot. I love watching them, but I hate thinking about them after.
So the first house that I had was just right up the street from where we live here, and we built a new house several years ago. There's a big chandelier. There's a big staircase that comes up to the second floor. The master bedroom in that house was right at the top of the staircase, and then there was bedrooms and bathrooms on either side. So the master suite had a huge suite with a sitting area and all that stuff. I was coming down the staircase one time, and the light and the chandelier were off, and I was standing on the top platform, and the chandelier started swinging, and it swung, and then all the lights came on, and every one of them blew out. I've been standing at the sink brushing my teeth upstairs in the bedroom and heard footsteps running across the top in the attic and climbed around. Never have found anybody. I've seen some strife things, seen shadows come up underneath the door into the master. I've seen some crazy things in the house. So when I sold it, a friend of mine bought it, and I waited till just after they got closed. And I said, man, I didn't tell him because he wouldn't have believed me anyway. And I said, man, I'm going to tell you, there's ghosts. And you won't worry about that. It got so bad they were doing a remodel, and the cabinet guys would not stay after dark because they started seeing stuff in the house too. Oh yeah, there was a slave cemetery behind the house back there with babies. So there was a lot of unrest on the property. This was actually this was like the wagon trail.
Wow.
To Smyrna from Old Hickory. There was a ferry that used to cross from Hendersonville, so this was the wagon trail to Smyrna right here.
Wow.
So there's a lot of stuff that happened in this little area.
That's crazy.
So that stuff's real.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, it's real, man. And that's just so much like unknown. It's like, you know, when you die, do you go straight to heaven or do you go to like a waiting place and then go? Like I don't know what happened. Like I just don't know.
Who really knows?
I know. That's the thing.
You know,
but.
It's lots of got awful deep, didn't it?
Yeah.
What happened? I love it. When are you going back in the studio?
Hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah.
I have 2 or 3. I'm really pumped. Usually I don't want to go. I don't want to go in until I feel good about recording something. Like sometimes, you know, and this isn't a hit at my label because they haven't really done this to me, but some other people will say, you know, like they'll make them go in there and record just to have content. But for us, like I don't want to go in unless I got something good.
Yeah.
So, or that I feel is good. So
how do you? What's your song selection process like? You writing a bunch? You looking for outside stuff too?
no, I mean I've written everything.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to an outside song yet, but I get pitched the C list stuff right now. Yeah. So when we get a little bigger, they'll pitch the A and B list stuff. But I just figured if I hear one, there was one song I heard that was pitched to me, that was written the same day they wrote it. They pitched it to me, and I was like, man, I'll cut this. Like this is great. And then like 4 hours later, I think Morgan Wallen put it on hold. So
they don't lay around long, man.
No,
you gotta lock them up.
I like if I write my own stuff, I ain't gotta worry about nobody else taking it or holding it. So I enjoy writing too. I enjoy like writing, and if it's not for me, pitching it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, probably pretty soon. Honestly, we just put a record out, but you know how fast that stuff goes. You put a record out, you got to get right back at it because it takes a few months.
Oh yeah,
especially for me.
It's a slow process, man.
Yeah,
yeah. What does your stage setup look like right now? I've heard you had street signs or something.
Yeah. We I wanted something different for my lights, so I got this guy to make me these custom street signs with my name on it. And we went in my backyard and shot them up with buckshot, 9mm bullets, house defense loads. Like we just messed them up, and then they cut all the sharp edges off of the backside and then sent them through a roller and then put some protective stuff on it so they get scratched up in the trailer. And so yeah, we hang them up every night on our lights. It's pretty sick.
That's cool.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, try to keep it a little different, you know. But
what kind of instrumentation do you carry out there?
Yeah, I have a couple of Gibson acoustics, some hummingbirds. The first guitar I bought was the Eric Church hummingbird. It's like a black one, and he's always been like big on my list too of just people I look up to. And so when they put that out, I think I paid $240 a month for 2 years for that guitar on Sweetwater.
Wow!
I financed it, and when I was living in Georgia, so I got that. I got Dallas bought me a hummingbird the other day from Carter's as just like a gift for hanging around, and he's awesome. And then I got a Firebird, an electric that we play on.
You carrying fiddle and steel?
Banjo. He does. Ethan does. We call him Slim Buck. He does banjo, mandolin, acoustic, electric, keys, and he sings like the really high harmonies. So he's my Swiss Army knife.
Guy that can do a little bit of everything. Man.
Yep.
You like to cook?
Not really.
No.
My wife does. She likes to cook. You
love to wash clothes, though, don't you?
Oh.
And do the dishes.
Yeah.
Take the trash out.
Yeah, I'm good at taking the trash out. I'm really good at that. I don't know. I'm a pretty simple dude. Like I know some artists are probably got a whole lot of stuff, but I'm pretty simple, man. I just like to be home. I like to hunt. I like to fish.
What would you say is your most embarrassing habit that you're willing to admit?
Oh man!
Like you eat your boogers or something?
No.
I sniff my shoes when I take them off, make sure they ain't stinking.
I'll do that sometimes.
There you go, see?
Make sure they don't smell bad if I'm somewhere. I don't know. Okay, here's an interesting thing. So when I maybe like 2 years ago, I get sent this Reddit thread, which I didn't know what Reddit was, but it's like this. I don't know. I guess it's like Twitter maybe, but it's just a more nerdy version of it. And I was playing this writers round at Live Oak, and the thread was called like Country Music Tea. And so they'll get on there and just talk crap about artists that they meet in Nashville. And this guy was like, anybody got any tea this week? And this one dude was like, yeah, man, I got something. Whenever I met Dylan Marlowe at Live Oak, I met him in the bathroom, and he didn't wash his hands before he walked out. And he went on stage and played. He peed and went right on stage. So I guess that's maybe my my tea. I have since then got better at washing my hands.
Well, now, as a guitar player, you don't want to walk up there with wet hands, and that'll mess your calluses up. So whoever said that,
yeah,
don't even worry about him washing his hands before he goes to play.
Exactly, man.
He should probably wash his hands before he touched himself, matter of fact.
I know, dude. I guess I bet if I thought on it, I could get you some pretty funny stuff. The buck on my wall right now, I shot him in Georgia. My ex-girlfriend, this was back in high school. She was kind of crazy, and she was I was going to let her go hunting with me, and she didn't get there in time, so I left, and it was raining, and she got to the house like 10 minutes late, and she was like, I was supposed to go with you, and I was like, yeah, but you were late. and I got to go get in the stand. And then
that's one time they better be on time.
Oh, that's right.
I ain't waiting on you.
I got up there and started snort wheezing, and this buck came in. And I smoked him right there. She was so mad. But I got some stuff I could probably dig up. Some stuff I could probably tell you too off the microphone. It was pretty crazy.
When do y'all head back out after the first of the year?
End of January, we're doing one of my headline tour, which I'm pumped. We just did one last year that was like 300, 400 cap. Just try to sell them out, and then that was really fun. So now we're going up to like 1,000 cap, like Georgia Theater and Grand Rapids, stuff like that. So
that's awesome, man.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it should be a busy year next year, man. I think touring's going to be off the chain next year, man. I know this year's been crazy too. Everybody's been out on the road.
I know, man.
Are y'all in a regular tour bus now?
We're in a tour bus now.
That's a big step, man.
I know, man. It was
it rides better, don't it?
Oh yeah, man. We had the first driver we had. I still love him. He's amazing, but he's a wild. He's from South Tennessee. He was a little too wild for us. His blood sugar was at like 205 or 250 or something.
You don't want somebody going into toxic shock with their drive.
Well, he was taking his blood pressure medications with Red Bull, so we figured we'd move on. Right. And but the last bus driver, which we're trying to keep him, his name's Mr. Bruce. He played football for the 49ers in the 80s. He has 2 Super Bowl rings with Joe Montana.
That's awesome.
And he's got 13 kids.
Oh.
And yeah.
He has to work.
Yeah. Well, he's got tons of businesses. I think he just drives to get probably some space, but he's awesome, man. He drove horse trailers, and he said when he was driving the horse trailers, they all had like video cameras in each stall because they're like Kentucky Derby horses. If they hit a pothole, like he'd get 8 calls immediately because they'd be watching them. They said the horses did like that, they'd call him. So he was the best driver I ever had.
That's a good training.
Yeah,
man.
I got a question. You had a collab with Dylan Scott. Do you have any other collabs that you wanted to talk about?
Dude, yeah, I mean, we got one out with this guy right now. His name's Bill Murray. He's a rock artist. It's like it's not actually the movie star Bill Murray, but it's like kind of just a meme of that, and that's actually been real. We play it every night, and people are like, "What the heck?" You know, I'm like, "Hey," sometimes I'll mess with people. I'll say, "This is the countryest song that I got out right now," and we'll play this pop punk kind of rock song. That one's really fun. And then we have one out with Avery Anna right now that's really sick. I think it's called I Will When You Do. And on this record, we have one called Stick to My Guns with Riley Green that I'm pumped about. And it's been doing pretty good.
Well, Riley's everywhere, man. He's just killing it right now.
I know. He's just a good dude, you know?
Yeah, man. And just solid, laid back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does music so he can hunt.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
It's kind of my goal in life.
Yeah, he's pretty laid back, man. We did the whole front half of the year with him, man. It was great.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
really cool.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. For him to hop on that was nice. I know he's so busy right now. So
are y'all on different labels?
Yeah, he's a big machine.
I guess labels are doing better at the cross collabs these days. Sometimes the paperwork's a pain in the ass.
Oh, it is, dude. Yeah, it definitely can be. But Sony's been great about everything. That if I tell them I want to do it, they do it.
That's cool.
Was there a Young Gravy collab?
Yeah, there's a rapper. His name's Young Gravy, and
I've just been introduced to Young Gravy today, as a matter of fact.
Right.
Yeah.
So we went to his concert in Nashville, and the song, it's just kind of a funny thing. It's sick, and one of my A&R, Nathan, he's like, "Man, if you could do like a Boys Back Home version with somebody not country, would you do it?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. I'm good." And then he's like, "But if you had to, who would it be?" And I was like, "Okay, if I was gonna do it, it'd be with Young Gravy." Like, just far-fetched, like never gonna happen thing. So I just kind of said it, and then like a week later, Young Gravy DMs me, and he's like, I think his DM was like, "Yo, let's work." And I was like, what are the odds? But turns out Nathan reached out to his team, and he ended up writing that version. I was like, whatever, it's kind of fun. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that was pretty funny though. Yeah.
Nowadays, it's all about impressions, man. You just got to stay out there. How much? What's your social media itinerary like? I mean, how much are you posting? How much do you do?
I looked at my TikTok today. I hadn't posted in 18 days.
Man after my own heart.
I obviously was on it a bunch leading up to this record, and I'll still, we did a release show last week. They got a bunch of content out. So like, for me, if I have the content done and they send it to me, I can post it. That's no trouble. It's just like, if I gotta go on my back porch and set my camera down and look at myself on the camera and make a video. Like, it's just hard for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So if I'm promoting the music, I see it as like a billboard, so I can go promote it. But I don't just post on there to post. Maybe you can agree to this, but I feel like there used to be so much mystery, and I think it was cooler that way.
Well, I've talked about this with different people a lot on this podcast. If you think about, remember when you were in school and you hear these stories? I remember hearing stuff about Richard Gere and Rod Stewart and all the things that you hear. I mean, Hank Jr. stories and stuff. Things would get a little seed of truth in them, and then they'd spread all over the country, and so it turned into this thing. Yeah. Nowadays, you don't have time for anything to turn into a thing. It happens, it's out.
Yeah,
it doesn't get any character or get embellishment, or it doesn't turn into a thing.
I know, and that's why things go so fast, like you said, just because it's so. Yeah, I feel like for me, like when you used to, it's just all so different now, I guess. Yeah. And I'm sure you know it way more than I do, but I used to get excited to go get a Linkin Park CD or go get like an old, like I remember buying a Luke Bryan CD in middle school, but like. I remember just being excited because you don't know anything on the record. You ain't even seen one song on the record.
And not just the music, but looking at the credits, who played on it, who the producer was, who wrote the song.
Who's the writer.
I want to see all the information. I mean, I want to see it all.
Yeah, so I used to get excited about just going and buying a CD. And now it's cool because you can have a song kind of do bigger and better and go viral or whatever. But the problem with it is if it doesn't go viral, I think I've learned, for the whole last year, I mean, the record's called Mid-20s Crisis, and that's why I wrote that song, because I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I just couldn't, we put Boys Back Home out, and it did so great because it went viral, which is, great, and I'll take that any day. But the issue was, stuff after that wasn't going viral, and so in my head, I'm like, oh, I guess it's not as good.
But the problem is, when it happens, you don't really know why it happened.
Exactly.
That's why it's so hard to follow. It's not like getting a momentum with the chart system, with the relationships out there on the radio format, where you string things together and you start to get some traction.
Yeah.
And you parlay this into that. Man, if you have something go viral, how do you do it again?
That's the problem.
And that's what I don't understand.
Yeah, and that's what it leads guys like me, like some of the newer guys, like to chase, because you think that's the only way. But then it always, when we started doing these headline shows, that was like this release show the other week, we did it 3 weeks after the record came out, because everybody does release shows in town the night it comes out for the industry, and I'm like, this sucks. Everybody's there, nobody's singing the songs, nobody knows it. So I told Sony, I was like, I want to have a record release show 3 weeks after, and then make it free, let all these fans learn the songs and come see it. So I think when we did that, it really hit me like, okay, maybe it doesn't have millions of views on TikTok, but every bit of 1,300 people were in there singing every word. So that's not that I need the validation, but you kind of look for it sometimes. You're like, is this working? Is it doing good? And so I think that's where social media kind of brings instant validation, and it's kind of ruined a bunch of people's heads probably.
Do you follow your numbers?
I just deleted the Spotify app. But the day before the record came out, I deleted the Spotify and Apple Music app on my phone. Not the streaming app, but for artists. They have one for artists where you can see all the numbers. I deleted it because I didn't want to. I don't want to look at it, and just because I want to be happy with the piece of work that I put out, I don't want to. If one song doesn't do as good as another, I don't want to think that it's a bad song, because I spent a lot of time picking these songs out. So I feel like it's a good record, and not in a cocky way, just in I believe in it, and I don't want to think, oh, maybe this song's not good because it only got this many. I think so. Yeah,
it's a tough thing to figure out, man.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. It's just such a different landscape out there. For music.
Yeah.
When you got guys like Gavin that are filling places up, hadn't really had a lot of radio airplay.
Yeah.
Co Wetzel, that's one of the guys putting selling 10,000 tickets in arenas and stuff out there.
For sure.
I mean, it's pretty insane. I mean, just because you can get there, but it's my brain still can't process how you back it up, how you do it once and then do it again.
I know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know how you do it again, I guess. I don't know. figure it out.
Hopefully, as you get rolling next year, you'll be able to kind of get your legs up underneath you and get out there and really have a big monster hit on your hands.
Yeah,
man.
hopefully, man. It's taking a second, but I don't mind. I wrote on it, so I don't mind it taking a minute.
Hopefully, you'll have that one, man. It'll go all the way, and you'll get to feel that feeling because there's nothing like it. Dude.
Yeah,
I mean, it's life changing.
Yeah,
when you get to experience the rise of a record going through the whole chart process and feel it peak out, man. It's just something because the energy changes. From 40 to 30, and then 20 and 10, and then, I mean, it just gets more intense where they're singing louder and they're more engaged. It's really freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the one song a night where everybody's hands go up immediately. Yeah. Phones come out, everything. So it's fun, man. Hopefully it does, and if it doesn't, it'll be all right. But I hope it does.
I'm sure you're going to be great, man. I really have enjoyed visiting with you today, man. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for taking a little time.
Thanks for having me, dude.
All your socials and stuff. How can people find you?
Yeah, just Dylan Marlowe music everywhere, I think. So
sounds good, brother.
Yeah,
Dylan Marlowe.
Oh yeah, see y'all.
Enjoyed it, brother.
Yeah.
Peace out.